Marcus Lane was a man who had finally started to see light at the end of the tunnel. After years of working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, one delivering groceries late at night and another taking customer service calls from a cramped apartment, he had landed an interview at a tech company that promised a real future. It wasn't a glamorous job, just a junior IT support position, but it came with full-time hours, health insurance, and an actual career path. More than anything, it felt like the beginning of a new life. Marcus had worked hard to get here, had gone back to school to finish his degree while juggling part-time gigs, and now he had a chance to finally get on solid ground. When he walked into that bright, modern office space for his second interview, he felt nervous but hopeful. The hiring manager smiled, the conversation flowed, and by the end of the interview, Marcus was told informally, "We'd love to bring you on board. Just a routine background check, and you're good to go." Marcus left the building grinning. He didn't have anything to worry about. He'd never been convicted of a crime, had paid every bill he could, even when it meant eating ramen for weeks, and was proud of the clean life he'd built. He called his mom on the way home and shared the good news. "They said I'm basically hired," he told her, his voice buzzing with excitement. "They just need to run the background check." His mom was thrilled. She knew how hard Marcus worked for this and how badly he needed a break. For the first time in years, Marcus allowed himself to relax. But 4 days later, everything unraveled. It started with a short, impersonal email from the company's HR department. "Thank you for your interest in joining our team. Unfortunately, based on the results of your background check, we will not be moving forward with your application." That was it. No explanation, no details, just a dead end. Marcus stared at the message for minutes, his brain scrambling to make sense of it. There had to be a mistake. He had passed every part of the interview process. He had no criminal record. He clicked through the email again, looking for a contact or appeal process. Nothing. Confused, he called the HR contact listed on his original interview packet. A polite voice answered, but wouldn't give details. "I'm sorry, Mr. Lane, but we are not able to share the specifics of the background check results. You can reach out to the background check provider directly for a copy of the report." Still puzzled, Marcus requested his background check report. When it arrived by email the next day, he read it slowly, expecting it to be blank or clean. Instead, halfway through the PDF, his breath caught. There it was, under criminal records, a single entry, felony theft, dismissed. It listed the date from nearly a decade ago, the county and court file number. No conviction, just the charge. Marcus felt his face flush. His mind shot back to that night, so many years ago, a night he had tried to forget, the night that still haunted him, even though it was supposed to be over. Marcus was 19, a freshman in college, when he got caught up in something he didn't do. He had gone to a party off campus with friends. Things got rowdy, some people he didn't know stole electronics from a neighbor's garage, and police came crashing through. Everyone at the scene was arrested. Marcus had told the truth from the start. He hadn't even known what was going on, but he was booked anyway. His family scraped together money for a lawyer, and after 2 months of court dates, the case was dismissed. There was no evidence tying him to the theft. The prosecutor dropped the charges. The judge signed off, and the case was closed. Marcus walked out of that courtroom thinking he was free. His lawyer had said, "It's behind you now." But apparently, it wasn't. Now, almost 10 years later, that dismissed charge had risen from the grave and cost him a job. He sat stunned on the edge of his bed, rereading the line in the report. Dismissed. It didn't say convicted. It didn't say guilty, but somehow it was enough to end his shot at a career. He started researching. At first, he was convinced the background check company must have made a mistake. How could they include something that was dismissed? But the more he read, the worse it got. In many states, including his, background check companies were legally allowed to report dismissed charges. Not only that, employers were often allowed to use that information when making hiring decisions. Marcus's heart sank. It felt like a cruel trick. He hadn't broken any law, but now he was being punished as if he had. He called the background check company and asked if the report could be corrected. "Sir, this information is accurate," the representative said, emotionless. "The charge was filed, and our system reflects public court records. We do not remove dismissed charges unless they've been expunged or sealed." Marcus didn't know what expungement even meant at that point. He hung up and stared at the wall, fury building inside. He reached out to a lawyer he remembered from college, a friend of the family. The lawyer explained that in his state, dismissed charges could stay on a person's public record unless formally expunged, and even then, not all cases qualified. "But I wasn't convicted," Marcus argued. "I didn't do anything." The lawyer was sympathetic but blunt. "The law doesn't care about that," he said. "You were charged. It's a matter of public record. And under current employment law, especially at-will states like ours, they don't have to hire you or even tell you why they didn't." Marcus felt sick. It felt like a cruel trick. He hadn't broken any law, but now he was being punished as if he had. He began digging deeper. That's when he found out how widespread this issue really was. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA, required background checks to be accurate, but that still included dismissed charges. Some states had laws preventing employers from using non-convictions in hiring decisions, but not his. In fact, in over 30 states, it's completely legal to factor in dismissed or even arrested but never charged records. He posted anonymously on a legal advice forum, hoping someone had a solution. Responses poured in, dozens of people sharing similar experiences. Some were denied housing, others lost custody battles, and many, like Marcus, were denied jobs because of charges that never resulted in conviction. "It's like the court said I was innocent, but the system didn't get the memo," one person wrote. That line hit Marcus like a punch to the chest. As days turned into weeks, Marcus grew consumed by the injustice. Every job posting he saw now felt out of reach. Every company that listed background check required felt like a locked door. He thought about all the work he'd put in. Nights spent studying, bills paid on time, interviews nailed, and none of it mattered. Because one night, 10 years ago, he had been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And even though the law said he didn't do anything wrong, the record said otherwise. He called the HR manager from the company that had rejected him, hoping for a shred of empathy. The woman answered kindly but firmly. "I understand your frustration, Mr. Lane. Unfortunately, our policy is to disqualify any applicant with a felony listed in their background report, regardless of outcome. It's about company liability." Marcus tried to explain that it was dismissed, that he wasn't guilty, but it didn't matter. "We don't evaluate individual cases," she said. "It's an automated filter." And that was it. Automated, filtered, denied, forgotten. For the first time in years, Marcus felt truly powerless. He wasn't just being judged for a crime he didn't commit. He was being sentenced again, without trial, without defense, without a voice. He thought about giving up, about finding another job in food delivery or gig work, but something inside him refused to accept it. This wasn't just about a job anymore. It was about the principle, about the silent punishment the system handed out every day to people who had technically done nothing wrong. He decided he had to fight back. He didn't know how, not yet, but Marcus Lane was not going to let a ghost from his past control his future any longer.